we're going to be working mainly on only on your essays. The first half, we're going to sort of do a bit of a think tank, so get some ideas going that you can write about for your essays. So the first thing that I want to talk about is all of the texts and how they can relate, because something that will make your essays really, really rich is how you can sort of interrelate the texts, okay? If you're talking about the bell jar, if you can reference Jane Eyre as well, or if you can reference the yellow wallpaper, that will look really nice. I'm aware of some of the girls' reluctancy to speak and to sort of shout out the answer. So to cater for that, I plan on having some group discussions. So those students will have the opportunity to share their answers with their peers, and if they feel comfortable, they can then go on to share those answers with the rest of the class. That's probably the biggest issue in this class, is sort of students, some students being a bit apprehensive to speak out.
Yeah. I don't know, especially at the end when she says that she keeps going in circles and then every time she steps over her husband. I just found that, you know how like he faints on the floor and then she keeps like stepping over her husband every time she goes. That's really, I don't know, it's kind of, in a sense, if we're like looking at women, in a sense, it's like the liberation of women. Like if she's like stepping over him as in like she has more power. Like,
definitely. And I think that's what that is meant to symbolise. I found that one of the biggest sort of risks with this class in particular is that it can become really teacher-centred, and I certainly found that the first time that I took the class. So after watching some of Yvette's classes, I picked up that the girls were more than willing to sort of read out loud, and it gave them an opportunity to become involved, and they can definitely handle the text.
I think it's also a way of getting to know the students. When you ask them to read out loud, you're connecting with them, and certainly for Katie Rose, who has a very short space of time as a teaching candidate, to actually meet students and get to know them, it's a really good way of connecting with them without asking something that could be arduous, you know, that they may not be able to answer, as well as building, of course, their confidence as readers.
Yeah, and you can always find 3 or 4 girls that are more than willing to, that really enjoy reading. And what about, it was mothers, not fathers, who caused this? It's called a genetic predisposition.
It was mentioned Jane Eyre, for example. Bertha has the madness, but not the brother.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't that interesting? And why do you think that is?
Sort of like, because Bertha's mother was mad, sort of this connection. It must be, you know, womb madness or something like that.
Yeah.
Hysteria.
And it was all relevant to women, and that it was a genetic predisposition.
One of the things I wanted Katie Rose just to make sure that she had very direct questions, so we clarified what the questions would be, because Katie Rose wanted to have a group discussion, which is a really great way of teaching, and so in order to do that I wanted to make sure that she had very specific questions which would scaffold the students in terms of teaching giving them some signals about what she wanted to talk about and building slightly some answers into the questions. And I think that Katie Rose's plan in terms of beginning with that quote, which was quite a chunky, difficult quote, was a really good idea, because there were so many ideas in there for students to read and perhaps pick up on, you know, 1, if not all, 5 or 6 ideas that were there. So one of those things was I just wanted very specific questions.
Because of the dynamic of the class, it really relies on student participation, and what I have noticed in some of the past classes is not all of the students are willing to be vocal participants. So I plan to utilise some of the students' skills by perhaps being a scribe and writing down the ideas that are happening within the class. Just take a minute, girls, to write some of these ideas down, because we've been going at quite a pace. Oh my God, you've done an excellent job. Oh, names and everything. Well done.
It's good you didn't have too much of a PowerPoint, you used it as a background to create a discussion point, and then moving to the board, especially with getting Jenny to get up there and actually write on the board, I thought was natural, because it meant you could, you know, there were additions to the ideas that you put in the PowerPoint.